Imagine walking into a luxury store and seeing a $2,000 handbag. You don't buy it. A few months later, that exact handbag is still sitting in a warehouse. It's perfectly functional. Nothing is wrong with it. Nobody damaged it. And yet, instead of putting it on sale for $500, the company destroys it. Sometimes it's burned. Sometimes it's shredded. Sometimes it's dismantled. And sometimes it's simply made impossible to sell. At first, this sounds completely insane. Why would a company destroy something it could still sell? Why not discount it? Why not donate it? Why not give it to employees? Why not sell it somewhere else? Because here's the uncomfortable part. For some luxury brands, selling the product for too little can be more damaging than destroying the product completely. That sounds backwards. But luxury isn't really selling you a handbag, or a watch, or a pair of shoes. It's selling you something much harder to manufacture. The belief that the product is worth an extraordinary amount of money. And once that belief breaks, the entire business model can start breaking with it. So why would a company literally destroy thousands of dollars of merchandise? The answer involves scarcity, psychology, economics, status, and one of the strangest rules in luxury. Sometimes, the easiest way to protect a product's value is to make sure fewer of them exist. Imagine two companies selling nearly identical black jackets. Company A sells jackets for $80. Company B sells jackets for $4,000. The first question you might ask is, what makes the second jacket 50 times better? Maybe the materials are better. Maybe the craftsmanship is better. Maybe the design is better. But those things alone rarely explain the entire difference. Because luxury pricing isn't just about manufacturing cost. It's about perceived value. A $4,000 handbag doesn't cost $4,000 to manufacture. The customer isn't paying $4,000 because leather suddenly became worth $4,000. They're paying for craftsmanship, design, heritage, distribution, marketing, status, exclusivity, and most importantly, the meaning attached to the brand. That's why luxury brands have a very different problem from ordinary retailers. Walmart wants products to move. Luxury brands want products to move without making the brand feel cheap. And those goals can conflict. Let's say a luxury brand makes 100 handbags. The normal price is $3,000. But demand is weaker than expected. After several months, 30 handbags remain unsold. A normal retailer might think, no problem, let's discount them. $3,000 becomes $2,000, then $1,500, then maybe $1,000. Sounds sensible, right? The company gets some money back. Customers get a bargain. Inventory disappears. Everybody wins. Except luxury has a problem. What happens when customers discover that the $3,000 handbag regularly sells for $1,000? They learn something. They learn that the $3,000 price isn't really the price. It's the suggested price. And once customers start expecting discounts, they may stop paying full price. Why buy today for $3,000 when you can wait 6 months and get it for $1,500? The discount doesn't just reduce today's revenue. It can change tomorrow's behavior. And that is incredibly dangerous for luxury brands. Now, think about something completely different. Gold, diamonds, rare paintings, vintage watches. Why do people value things that are difficult to obtain? Because scarcity changes perception. If everyone can have something, owning it doesn't communicate much. But if only a small number of people can obtain it, the object becomes more valuable socially. Luxury brands understand this extremely well. They don't just sell products. They carefully manage availability. The idea is simple. If you want something badly enough, but you know it won't always be available, you're more likely to buy it when you get the chance. This is why luxury brands sometimes limit production. Why certain products are released in small quantities. Why some colors disappear. Why certain collaborations never return. And why some products are intentionally difficult to obtain. The scarcity itself becomes part of the product. You're not just buying the bag. You're buying the fact that not everyone can easily get one. Think about the difference between two restaurants. Restaurant A has 200 tables. You can walk in almost any night. Restaurant B has 20 tables. Getting a reservation takes 3 months. Which restaurant sounds more desirable? Even before you've tasted the food, your brain starts making assumptions. If it's this hard to get into, it must be special. That's the psychology of scarcity. Luxury brands can create the same effect. The product isn't necessarily better because fewer exist, but the fact that fewer exist can make the product feel more valuable. And this is where destroying unsold inventory becomes interesting. Because if the alternative is dumping excess products into discount channels, destruction can theoretically help maintain scarcity. Imagine you're a luxury brand. Your handbag is supposed to represent exclusivity, but suddenly customers start seeing the same handbag everywhere. Outlet stores, discount websites, warehouse sales, flash sale apps, online marketplaces. Suddenly, the product doesn't feel exclusive anymore. And that's a serious problem, because luxury customers aren't just buying functionality. They're buying differentiation. They want something that feels uncommon. If the product becomes too common, some of its psychological value disappears. This creates a strange economic incentive. A normal company might celebrate selling more units. A luxury brand sometimes has to worry about selling too many units through the wrong channels. Because distribution affects perception. Where you see a product can change what you think it's worth. A $20 t-shirt hanging in a discount bin feels like a $20 t-shirt. Put a beautifully packaged version behind the glass doors of an exclusive boutique, and suddenly the experience is completely different. The product didn't magically become 50 times more useful. The context changed, and luxury is heavily dependent on context. Now, let's get back to those unsold handbags. Suppose the company produced too many. Maybe it expected stronger demand. Maybe the trend changed. Maybe a new collection arrived. Maybe the economy weakened. Maybe the color wasn't popular. Now, the company has a warehouse full of expensive inventory. On paper, that inventory looks like an asset. But inventory has a hidden problem. It can become a liability. It takes up storage space. It requires insurance. It needs to be transported. It has to be tracked. And in fashion, it can lose relevance. A black handbag doesn't suddenly rot. But fashion can make yesterday's product feel old. And that's a special problem for an industry built around novelty. The longer an item sits unsold, the harder it can become to sell it at the original price. So the company faces a decision: sell it cheaply or protect the brand. And sometimes the second option wins. This is where the story gets even more interesting. You might think, Fine, don't sell it. Just donate the products. Sounds like the perfect solution. The company avoids a discount. Someone gets something valuable. The product doesn't go to waste. But there's another problem: control. Once a luxury product leaves the company's control, it can end up almost anywhere. It can be resold. It can appear on marketplaces. It can be distributed through channels the brand doesn't control. And suddenly, the product is circulating at prices the company never intended. Imagine a customer paying $3,000 for a handbag, then seeing the exact same handbag being sold online for $600. What does that tell them? Maybe the product isn't worth $3,000. Maybe the brand is artificially inflating prices. Maybe they should never pay full price again. That is the nightmare scenario, because luxury depends on customers believing the full price market is real. Here's how a discount can create a dangerous cycle. The company has excess inventory, so it discounts the product. Customers notice. Some customers wait. Sales slow down at full price. The company discounts more. Customers learn to wait even longer. Eventually, the brand becomes associated with discounts. And now the company has trained its own customers not to buy at full price. This is one reason luxury brands have historically been extremely careful about discounting. Because the most expensive thing a luxury brand can lose isn't inventory. It's pricing power. Pricing power is the ability to charge a high price without losing most of your customers. And once that disappears, getting it back can be incredibly difficult.